Good morning, teachers. Today I'm going to present my second task about socio-emotional learning. However, before we go deep into the content, it's important to ask ourselves two questions. What is SEL and why it's important? We know that SEL stands for socio-emotional learning, and it's about to create connections between students in an emotional way, okay, in order to improve their academic performance. Now, it's important this model in order to create healthy relationships among students, taking care about their mental health. But why am I talking about mental health now? Because I think there is a core aspect of social emotional development and learning. And mental health is a factor that should be considered when we talk about the Chilean context. That's why I have created this question. Is self present in the Chilean educational context? I think that no. In fact, I think that social emotional learning is a luxury here in our country. Okay? Why? Because if we consider this data provided by the World Health Organization, the OECD, and the Servicio Médico Legal from our country, I can dare to say that there is no social emotional learning at schools. Why? Because we have 5% of the total population of the country that have problems such as depression. 6.5% have problems of this, uh, excuse me, anxiety disorders. From a sample of 100,000, 58% have this kind of problems, and these people is between 15 to 44 years old. Okay, and this group of people you may find it in university and the high school level. Okay, now these two levels are the ones that I'm being experiencing this semester. Why? As a practitioner and as a learner from the English pedagogy program. As a practitioner, I have been attending to Paula Jara Quemada High School located in the district of Recoleta. It's a public school, high school for women. And there I have noticed that most of the classes tend to be monotonous because the teacher provides the students the content, the students memorize it, then they reproduce it on a test in order to obtain a grade, which something that is not so different from university. It's a factor that should be taken into consideration. And also, this is different from university. Uh, Teachers tend to use the same methodologies throughout the whole year. So we may find that there is no self-reflective teaching. Okay, teachers doesn't vary on the activities that they use. Okay, at school I have found that teachers only use, for example, worksheets in order to exercise the content. Now, at university, we know that the strike started because of the high amount of course load. Okay, because the students spend a lot of time studying. Mm-hmm. There, Therefore, attending to the assemblies, I have found that that students have this lack of social emotional skills, and something very important described by Marulanda, the lack of empathy. Okay, so this core aspect of empathy tell us immediately that there is a lack of social emotional learning and development. Mhm. This is produced because of the lack of communication between the members of the community in a school and at university. Okay, this lack of communication is something very important, and also it is described by Paulo Freire in his text, The Pedagogy of the Oppressed, in which the banking education is reproduced. Teachers provide content, students are expected to replicate and obtain a grade. Okay, however, there is no a process of thinking about my performance, how can I do better, and what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so there is no like this metacognitive process, but about our emotions. So in order to go deeper, it's important to describe the elements that are present at the school and university and those that are lacking regarding social emotional learning. Here, I have selected the five aspects described by Marulanda in her text. Um, these aspects involves yourself and others, how you can relate with others, and how do you act by yourself in society, okay, generally. However, if we go specific to the context of the school, at the university, I have separated these levels in those ones that are strongly present and not noticeable, and those that are less present, okay, in a weak way. Okay, so self-awareness and decision making are in green because they are strongly present. You can find people that reflect and can identify their problems. This more at the university more than the school. However, it's a process that you can find it easily. And the decision making process, it doesn't matter it is a responsible decision or not. The thing is that people is deciding, okay, because they have already identified the problems and they want to work on them. However, the way that they interact with others is the one that is weak in terms of social emotional development and learning, because people doesn't think about the impact of their decisions. Okay, this is regarding with social awareness. Okay, there is not a process of thinking about your consequences. So here we may find what Marulanda describes about the lack of empathy. Here about self-management, it's about that people doesn't want to reach an agreement. Okay, so there is not a process of negotiation. No, people, I have found that at the assemblies, at my experience, that people want to prevail on others. Okay, my idea is superior to your idea. Now about relationship skills, it's apart from the other ones. It's in yellow because I think that is something that is on the middle. Okay, people separate groups. Okay, so this is the group that is agree with me, and this is the one that is disagree with me. Okay, so they are apart. They are apart, and this is we can find it in at the university and at school. Okay, students tend to separate their groups. Okay, so there is an individualization process. Um, Now about the lacking elements of self, we may find that in fact there is no self strategies implemented at school and at the university. Why? Because at school the teacher arrives at the classroom, okay, the excuse me, the teacher give the students the content, they reproduce it again, and there, that's all. And at university, we have these high amounts of course load, and the students doesn't have time to think about their emotions, and the levels of stress at the university are a lot. Okay, we have high amounts of stress at the university because of the tests, because of the tasks, and it's something that we have to be careful. Okay, and there is no presence of cell strategies that help us to fight against that stress. Now, I have designed a course of action in order to fight with this problem. Mhm. This course of action is based on the RAM model that I have come up with, and this the first step is to we have to consider and we have to be realistic. Okay, I have focused this model on schools, and we cannot be the saviors of the education. We cannot get into the school. Okay, I'm going to implement my cell model on everyone. Okay, no, we should be going step by step. Okay, in this classroom I'm going to use this kind of method. Okay, I'm going to do some icebreakers. I'm going to do some Socratic circles between students. Okay, however, this process should be made step by step because in Chile there is an existent levels of self social emotional learning. Okay, students have never experienced this kind of models. That's why we have to be realistic. Now we have to be adaptable since students have different needs. Okay, so this day we may use okay, we are going to separate groups and the students are going to work with people that they have never worked with. Okay, today we are going to use some visual aids in order to create a funnier environment in order to learn more easier. um, but also this course of action should be meaningful. Okay, should be meaningful for students because they are going to reach this level of the university. Okay, they are going to deal with problems, to everyday problems. They need to, or they are expected to take responsible decisions, and this is it's a problem from day by day at university. Okay, so if we create a meaningful model, they are going to internalize it in their lives. Okay, so there is going to end this process of trying to prevail on others. Okay, we are going to I want that students understand that they need to reach agreements and they have to negotiate for meaning. Okay, so this course of action it's based on, again, Freire praxis in order to reflect about the things that are happening around us. Okay, in order to teach theory, okay, we are not going to eliminate theory. No, it's something that we need to teach to our students. However, in a practical way, through action. Okay, have to teach to our students that they if they are going to learn something, they are going to use it, actually use it. That's why my course of action considers the use of real deal situations. Okay, um, this course of action is designed to start with teachers. Okay, so teachers have to reflect about their methods. They have to recognize which are the weaknesses that they may have. They have to improve them in order to teach the students. Okay, about social emotional learning. Mhm, to connect the students emotionally. Therefore, we can go to the school stuff and we have to recognize that this can be a long-term process, about 2-3 years, to convince other people to use this kind of method. Excuse me. In order to reach parents. Why? Because I think that parents are always apart from school. No, we have to consider them in order to that they replicate this model at home. Hmm. So they can be involved with the teacher and with the school community as a whole. Okay, so and that was my presentation, my course of action. Okay, about social emotional learning. I hope that you have enjoyed my presentation and see you at the university.